Hello, everyone. Good day. Thank you for joining us today. I have the pleasure of introducing our guests who have secured internships as analysts during the second year. Let's start by having each of them briefly introduce themselves and provide us with some background information. Arsh, sir, can you please start?
पहली बात तो सर बुलाना बंद करो, ठीक है? Hi, my name is Arsh. Spelling 4 letter ही है, ठीक है? I am from biotech branch and I am interning right now at Finmechanics India. Um, it's based in Bombay. Its headquarters is in Bombay, and yeah, फिलहाल के लिए इतना limited रखते हैं.
Avani ma'am, can you please continue?
Okay. Hi, I'm Avani. I'm from Mathematics and Computing, and I'm interning at Goldman Sachs in Bangalore.
Uh, Rhythm, sir, can you continue?
Yeah, so I'm Rhythm and I'm from Mathematics and Computing Department and I'm going to enter my fourth year in the next semester. I got my intern at JPMorgan and yeah, I'm excited for today's talk and I hope that you all get some valuable feedback today.
And Sanskriti.
Hi, I'm Sanskriti. I'm from Biotech Department and I'm currently interning at American Express, which is based at Gurgaon. And my position is at analyst at Credit and Fraud Risk Management Department.
Okay, thank you all for your introductions. Can you provide us some insights into your day-to-day activities and responsibilities you handle? Avni, would you like to take up this question?
Sure. Okay. तो सबसे पहले आई वुड लाइक टू टेल कि एनालिस्ट क्या होता है. एनालिस्ट सबको दूर से ऐसा लगता है, मुझे भी लगता था ये लोग दिन भर एक्सेल शीट खोल के बैठे रहते होंगे, कुछ डेटा एनालिसिस कर रहे हैं. बट like specifically I'll talk for Goldman Sachs and I think JPMC के लिए भी सही होगा. Rhythm can confirm कि analyst is more like a कोई भी रोल होता है तो उसके दो रीजंस होते हैं, या तो हायरार्किकल या फंक्शनल. Like for Goldman Sachs, analyst is the most junior most position. उसके ऊपर it's associate, VP. तो analyst is more of hierarchical in Goldman Sachs क्योंकि I've talked to so many co-interns. What I work on is like my department is, my team is decision science. We do ML modeling and like the thing I work upon is credit card fraud detection. So but ऐसा है कि analyst में जैसे if I talk to so many people in Goldman Sachs, I am doing ML modeling, someone is doing development, someone else is doing pure finance का चीज, someone is doing math, functions, designing, etc. So analyst is not something data analysis type, just not that. There are so many things to it. It depends on company to company. It depends on team to team inside a company. What I do daily particularly is वही जो बोला कि credit card fraud detection पे I'm making new models. I'm optimizing existing models. That's it, yeah.
Okay, great.
Now, most of the students do not have a good idea of about finance or stock market. Is it really necessary to know about this? Rhythm, sir, can you take up this question?
Yeah, thanks Madhavan for asking that question particularly and it's very relevant for second year students because they really don't have any knowledge about stocks market and finance and it's really okay to not have knowledge about these topics because this is not what the company expects from you at this stage. What company expects you is to what you should target is to build your thinking process at this time related to coding problems and puzzles because that is what is going to be asked in tests from you. And it's not only about completing the resources, like I have seen many people who just run behind resources and they are trying to just complete them and not learning from them. So it's about doing less in number but doing well in quality. So you should focus upon that initially.
Great.
Okay. So, what in your opinion, what is the ideal time to start the preparation? And also, could you tell us about the important topics, be it either from call 106 or MTL 106, that are of special importance, especially for interviews and coding tests? Sanskriti.
Thanks, Mohammed. So ideal time, I would say that it varies from person to person, but summer break is a good time to start the preparation. 2 months are enough if you are seriously doing it. I didn't have call 106 as my course, but I took MTL 106, so can tell you about the important topics of probability, which included the distribution curves, namely the Gaussian curve, normal curve, and exponential function. So these are some of the important topics that I found, and it's not necessary that you have to do this course. You can practice this question from YouTube, learn this topic from YouTube, and practice from geeks for geeks. That will be sufficient. And for coding, I would say that DSA is important along with dynamic programming. And in DSA, you can go for that typical question from list arrays. Uh, and I guess others can add on this call 106 question, because I particularly did that course in my.
Okay, no problem. And how did you prepare for the internship? Like, could you share the specific resources or preparation materials you referred to? Or,
So for the okay, yeah.
no, if you like, you could take the question.
Yeah, I'll add on if something is missing.
Okay.
So what I prepared initially, there are three aspects to internship which I concluded upon. Firstly, it's coding based. It's DSA is primary resource which you need to be dexterous in, and then there is the quantitative side, quant karna hai, and the third part is CV. We'll get to the third part later, but the resources which I used were pretty much lead code. For coding, there are two aspects again. The person who has been doing competitive programming religiously, maybe from past 2 years, he'll have a good base. Obviously, he does not need to prepare exceptionally just in those 2 months. He'll be comfortable with at least the whole regime, whole routine, and how he should ace those coding tests. But there are certain topics like कोई चीज जो उसका एल्गोरिदम जो बनी है वो एक जमाने में कोई क्वेश्चन हुआ करती थी. It used to be called a question, but it got named as algorithm because it's a standard question. You can use it anywhere. So there are certain set of standard questions you need to be acclimatized with and accustomed with, and you need to practice that. And I personally liked lead code because it has a pretty good UI and it also has a daily problem kind of thing. And you can follow what typical YouTuber wala follow this DSA sheet. You can pick one resource and follow one, have complete faith in it, and follow one thing completely. By JE time pe, as professors and teachers used to say, pick a book and solve it completely. That is for coding side, and it is must that you give some contests on coding platforms. You are well aware of the coding platforms, and just to get hold of the time limit and how to deal with that environment. And for the quantitative side, Brainstar is there, and there are some quantitative finance books which are floated as Drive. Many people have them and can share that resource with you. So, few books, like 2 3 books. The author Zinfeng Zhao, the book written by him, the few chapters from that about probability and aptitude and brain questions are bare minimum. One should do that, and it really helps discussing problems with your friends because they are solving some other resources, and maybe you can get together in the night and night mess pe वगैरह. You can discuss random quant questions. That really helps. So these are the primary two things. Maybe others will add later in the stage.
Okay, great. So, like, Sanskriti, do you want to add something to?
I guess Earth has already told enough.
One thing I
So,
like to emphasize is, like Arsh very rightly said, that you need to have a partner or someone to solve with you the problem so that you can discuss. So that really helps. If you do puzzles alone, then you get bored and you are not very comfortable with doing on the first time. So it's good to have someone to solve and then you both discuss.
okay, great.
Just to
So,
add on this, not from a preparation perspective, but ऐसे intern season is थोड़ा ज़्यादा hectic, थोड़ा stressful होता है, तो have someone on your side, support system, talk to your parents या कुछ भी, थोड़ा like किसी का लग रहा है, किसी का नहीं लग रहा है, environment वैसा रहता है, तो it's better you have someone, friend, family, anyone.
On that questions wala part, just like JE time pe, teachers used to say कि after you give a test, after you solve a paper, you should analyze it. Similarly, if you give a contest, you need to upsolve those questions. If you are trying a problem and वो 20 मिनट के बाद नहीं आया, You should do that. I used to make notes as well. I have मेरे दो notebook तीन notebook भरे हुए हैं of DSA questions, all the standard questions. I have them documented. I have an Excel sheet of quantitative questions जो मैंने किए थे exam में. So everything needs to be documented so that you can refer to it after 2 months. सब याद नहीं रहेंगी ना चीजें, so you need to have a recollection of them all for a quick recollection again. बार बार हफ्ते ना हफ्ते, just like J. It's nothing different.
Okay. So, like, what all they did ask in the online test, and how much would you rate that on the difficulty level of 1 to 10? Sanskrit.
So for Amex, I would say that in the online test, there were three sections. The first one was the cognitive aptitude test, which include easy to medium level mental ability question, and this section also included some probability questions. And the second section was a case study based, where they give up business problem, and it was MCQ based, and the options were quite confusing. So you need to have a good understanding on how to solve cases, which you can practice with your friends who are doing the consult preparation. And the third section was the machine learning ML based, which I didn't attempt. But if you attempt that section, your cumulative score will be based on all the marks scored in those three sections, and your shortlisting will be based on that. So and in the ML based, my friends attended, and they told me that it was also easy to medium level basic machine learning question, which do not include DSF.
Okay. So, Apni, what about Goldman Sachs?
यार एकदम तो याद नहीं है. I think it was easy to medium. एक test had CP questions, I think 2 or 3 questions, और बाकी analysis part had probability questions and थोड़ा JEE type questions, like finding, I think JEE type math questions थे थोड़े बहुत. And yeah, interview का भी बताना है.
Also the
Okay.
interview.
तो इंटरव्यू गोल्डमैन सैक्स का 3 स्टेज थे मेरे. सो गोल्डमैन सैक्स ने LHC पे ऐसा एक पूरा फ्लोर में बहुत सारे क्यूबिकल्स लगा लिए थे. तो व्हाट दे वर डूइंग वाज कि 15 मिनट्स के 3 इंटरव्यूज थे. जैसे ही एक इंटरव्यू खत्म हुआ, यू वेट फॉर 2-3 मिनट्स, दे सेंड यू इनटू अनदर क्यूबिकल. तो फॉर मी द फर्स्ट इंटरव्यू वाज, they just asked me 1-2 puzzles, and they discussed my CV. I did research internship last year, so we most of the time was spent discussing my work done there. In the second interview, they asked me again some puzzle, and I had a few projects in Python, so they asked me some Python language questions. They also asked me some SQL questions. It was also written on my resume. That is why they asked them. And the third interview was, it had MTL 106 questions. And like I would say most of the interview revolved around what was written on my CV. So बहुत लोग अभी CV बनाते टाइम they'll fancify things, but just make sure कि जो भी CV में लिखा हो, हर word you are able to explain it, you are able to live it to it. तो कुछ भी पूछ सकते हैं. Like let's for example project में you say कि what I did in this project, I increased my efficiency from here to here. So you should be able to explain कैसे किया, why you chose this metric, anything. तो CV के लिए CV, be prepared with your CV.
Okay. So, Ritam, could you describe your experience of Morgan and Chase, of the interview and coding round?
Yeah, so in the interview, there were 4 rounds. So, first one was the probability and puzzles round. So, it had, as far as I remember, it was around 2-3 DP problems. And along with DP problems, there were probability puzzles, basically testing the probability concepts about some basic distributions and all. And yeah, Avni rightly said that living up to the CV is very important, because they ask you about your projects or your summer intern, basically research intern, if you have done any. So I had my ML project written on the CV, so they asked ML questions related to that, and exactly why did I do that and why didn't in the other way. So you can expect your interviewer to be like an expert in any of the fields you have written in the CV, so you have to be prepared for it. And in the second round, again, there were some coding questions related to binary search and greedy algos, and proving the greedy algo, sort of like that. In the third round was basically was an object oriented programming round. And that's a very important part, because this is something that is very doable if you just know the things, and these things are asked in the coding tests also and in the interviews also, so you should readily be prepared for that. And the last round was the HR round. That was basically general talk and nothing specific.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
Arsh, what about Finmechanics?
um, Personal experience जो मेरा था, the my personal experience was a bit different because of certain situations that happened that day. My interview got delayed 2 hours, so interview will come to later. But coding round and the test, they have 3 sections. One is aptitude and maths, another is CS fundamentals, and the third one is finance. So in aptitude and maths, it's probability. It's the typical questions ki, about sets and statistics. Sets में Ram loves chai and this loves coffee. They read newspaper, तो तीनों का intersection, something of those sorts things. And probability questions about you picking up balls and drawing Bayes theorem, etc. So you need to be highly dexterous in those skills, because these are not the questions which require extreme logical thinking. These are accuracy based things. You need to be okay with them in a slick of time. You Time is the biggest asset there. Time won't be on your side, and you'll have to solve those questions within 30 seconds a minute in order to solve all of them. So ये सारी चीज़ें well versed होनी चाहिए. And the second part is CS fundamentals, and they do not focus on a particular language. By CS fundamentals, I do not mean that you need to code. You will have to answer MCQ questions based on certain languages or certain syntaxes or certain logical paradigms. Okay? So they asked questions based on object-oriented programming and C++, and some Python snippet codes were given, and SQL code was given. So 10, 15 MCQs based on that. And the last part was finance. They do not expect you to have finance knowledge. So they had given us a paragraph regarding buying and selling of certain trade options, and we had to answer MCQs based on that. Now the thing is that paragraph is not generally easy to grasp within the first reading. So time again needs to be by your side in order for you to actually read those questions and extract the essential information from that paragraph. So this is the solving part of the test. But before the test, they make you fill an HR form online by Google Forms, and that's उसका भी window काफी short होता है. You need to type in that Google form, and it's lot of questions about what you did and how you managed certain things in your JE period, and how you excelled in something, how something you're proud of. Those moments you need to capture them and document them within the HR form, and immediately after that the assessment starts. So this was the whole assessment thing on the same day, and my interview was two rounds were there. The first round is supposed to be a more logical assessment and cognitive skills kind of. And my first round, they asked me few puzzles, programming questions, object-oriented programming based on CV. And quant questions are usually not difficult for analyst firms, I believe. It does not go on the way of quantitative trading. HFT firms jitna difficult nahi hota hai. This is what I've heard at least. So again, if you have prepared well, then you will be able to ace it easily. And they ask questions about your CV again. It's quite prominent now. And in the end, which I have realized, they will ask you mostly that, do you have any questions for us? And it's important for you to ask few questions to them, because they have conducted a PPT or something or presentation some time back, definitely. So you need to mention something that you were attentive in that time in order to make your mark, in order to make your recognition feel. Okay? So that was my round one. It went on for 50 minutes, but 15 minute ka interview tha wo in reality. Let's leave that. And round two was more of an HR round. There were 6 plus 2 people sitting. 8 people total. The 2 people who interviewed me in round 1 did not assess me. They were sitting behind because they are not allowed to judge me as per their Finmechanics rules. The only 6 people were sitting, and by the way, my first round was taken by the co-founder himself, and in the second round, everyone is sitting, so they throw questions at you from this direction, everywhere. So you need to be very conscious and make eye contact whenever necessary. And they will ask you random questions. Ki, why did you pick project? Why did you pick this project? Why did you find that interesting and not that interesting? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? All those typical HR questions are also asked, and you will have to give them pretty good reasons and convince them that why do you think machine learning is right for you right now, and why do you think that you will shift from this to this. They can ask you anything, and again they will ask you in the end that do you have any questions for us, and then you need to again ask in order to make the mark across all 6 people, because that is the new audience which you need to cater to. So that was my whole experience.
Great. Thanks a lot. This was very informative. But from a second year student's perspective, how should one go about building their CV and how important are the projects we take to our CV? Arsh sir, can you read this?
Regarding CV, if you have seen the IITD portal CV, any senior CV, so there are certain set of things: scholastic achievements, projects, internships, extracurriculars, PORs, if you may list them. So scholastic achievements is basically the previous things. I think other people can elaborate more on that. मेरे उतने नहीं है, ठीक है. So project section is something you should swear by. You should do not falsify things. फट जाएगी. See, proper interview में they won't spare you at all. ठीक है. You will have to justify each and every decision you made, and if you're writing bade terms like I did backward propagation in neural networks etc., then please thoda dua karke jana ki they won't harass you in the interview, and just be okay. CV prep is the biggest thing before the interview, and it depends kind of on the tech profile, consult profile, how you build a CV. For example, in a consult profile, you need to glorify the PORs and kind of groundwork and experiences more. But in the tech and analyst business, you need to glorify your own projects, that tum khali nahi baithe the. Just remember that you need not go very hi-fi. You need to show them. They do not expect you to actually have a lot of knowledge and lot of skills. They expect you that you can portray to them that you were not sitting idle throughout the 2 years. You were always trying to do something, build something from scratch maybe, or you were taking the guidance of a professor. You were trying to work on a real aspect thing, real world applicable things. I believe it answers it for right now. Maybe others can add, and maybe we can discuss this later.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would like to. Sorry.
no, yeah, please continue.
I would like to add, get your CV reviewed by as many seniors as you can. I would recommend at least 4 or 5 people. You can just directly text them. Don't worry if you haven't talked to them or anything. Just get your CV reviewed. And other thing I wanted to add was, you can use projects on your CV as a medium to guide your interview. Like interview, and you start discussing a project, and like it's whatever is written on your CV. You can take them. It can guide your whole interview, that you start discussing what you did on the project, how uh, you learned this skill, how this skill, and they'll start asking you questions around that,
Yes, and it's
even
very
technical questions
important.
around
Yeah.
that.
I'd like to add on that if you do not answer things steering in your direction, then they'll build up questions from their end, which will definitely harm you. You need to steer it in your direction. I'll give you a very small example. I had mentioned a project which had trees and kind of avial trees and trees, and the topmost node is connected. I won't glorify things here, but typically there's a thing that you have a forward pointer, that एक pointer होता है. There is something in coding. So I also, now they are asking me that you need to eliminate this. They are asking questions. So I immediately said, I also declared a backward pointer. It's my project. It's my code. I can say whatever I want. Even if I don't know what I exactly did, I need to convince them. ठीक है? That's what your primary purpose, and you need to be very clear, crystal clear on what you're speaking, because if you fumble here and there, they will then digress and ask you further more questions. So be clear that you applied this and dig into that. That's it.
Great. Ca- can you describe what kind of projects are valued more for an analyst interview? Rhythm sir, can you take this up?
Yeah, so since we are talking about analytics, so it's always better to have projects written in a way that conveys your analytical abilities. It can be any ML project or any statistical project, and it's totally okay if you don't have one. But if you have one, so you should write it in a way, and you should be very sure about it, and you should be have a deep grasp over it. So that's very important.
Uh, Great. In terms of technical skills, what are some key competences or tools that you have found essential for your role in this during your intern period? Rhythm sir, would you like to continue?
So yeah, once you get there, then programming in Python, I would say, is really important because most of the work in companies goes around Python only. You have to code in Python, and this is the time when you can think of building your financial knowledge, because that is something that will be incorporated into your projects in one way or the other. I'm sure, like, Avni has this, she was saying credit risk and all, and it also involves something calculating these financial terms, some expected value at some future point. So all these terms revolve. So it's important that before getting before entering into the intern or after entering into the intern, you should learn these skills. And there is a Bible book, that is John C. Hull, on option derivatives, futures and derivatives. So you can definitely go on reading some of the chapters of that book.
Great. Would anyone else like to add on this during their intern period? What they found helpful?
So I would go ahead with this. So in Amex, they give you a list of courses that you need to do before the start of your internship. So they gave me SQL course, Python course, and some basic finance knowledge, which helps me during my internship and which is helping me now also. So yeah, that's for Amex.
Okay, great. So, like, there are a lot of rumors, like companies like Goldman Sachs and American Express prefer girls over boys. So, what's your take on that, Sanskriti and Avni?
I'll take it
uh,
pehle. Okay, you go.
I don't really think that this happens because it doesn't happen with me. I think they hire people based on their qualification, skills, and that's only. But people think this because they have a criteria, like there should be some percentage of girls. So that's why they have to maintain that level. That's why they people think that they hire based on the gender. But I don't think really it happens.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take it. Acha, I'm sorry. In my opinion, I think it does happen. कंपनीज को जेंडर रेशियो मेंटेन करना रहता है एम्प्लॉयज का. सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वो हायरिंग में भी थोड़ा जेंडर रेशियो देख के हायर करते हैं. एंड बिकॉज आईआईटी का जेंडर रेशियो, हमारे कॉलेजेस का जेंडर रेशियो स्क्यूड है, तो ऐसा होता है कि कई बार कोई डिजर्विंग मेल कैंडिडेट नीचे जाएगा. बट इसके मतलब एथिकली इफ यू स्टार्ट टू आर्ग्यू, ये करना चाहिए कि नहीं डाइवर्सिटी हायरिंग, तो बहुत सारे पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव दोनों डायरेक्शन में यू हैव डिबेट, यू कैन हैव डिबेट. बट एंड में ये है कि कंपनी is working according to its own profit policies. तुम we don't have a say in it. So what I would say to boys specifically is कि since we don't have actually have a say in this, just focus on improving yourself, giving your best. And to girls, like after intern season gets over, girls ऐसी फीलिंग आती है कि क्या पता मेरा इसलिए तो नहीं हुआ because I was a girl. So to uh, deal with that, I'm not sure. I've talked to many people regarding this in my team who came for hiring, and they've said that कि हम भले ही कम लोग hire करें, but हम undeserving candidates को hire नहीं करते. So if that helps consoling you, uh, बाकी yeah, just focus on improving yourself. इसका things in this direction are not in our hands.
जस्ट टू ऐड टू
Okay.
दैट, इफ जेंडर ड्रॉप डाउन खुलता है ना टेस्ट में, तो उधर अगर मैन और वुमेन, फीमेल फीमेल के अलावा दूसरा ऑप्शन नॉन बाइनरी दिखे ना, तो वो भर देना, ठीक है?
So the next question is that a lot of students think have this question that does POR or ECAs play a role in the selection process? Arsh, would you like to answer this?
For tech roles, sure, मतलब you should have some. See, again, your CV should not show कि तुम कितने मचाओ हो या फिर something. Okay, if it's doing that, it's excellent. If it's not doing that, which is most likely the case, ठीक है? Then it's not a big deal, because that is the whole of the population sitting right beside you. You need to just show that you were not idle. So having PORs just shows that you were not dormant enough and you were actively participating in things and you gained experience. And if it's a weighted POR where you can describe what you did in it, and जैसे POR culture है across IIT, it is not that people do justice to that POR majority of the times. So if you did justice really, then you should flaunt it. You should actually write good things about it, and prefer which PORs you had. Show them in the CV in the way that you actually worked with, how you actually pitch that in your real life. And they will actually question you if you steer your interview in that direction. They will ask you about your POR. What did you learn from it? It depends. They necessarily won't, but it again depends on you. So PORs and etc. It's very important for consult profiles, highly important. But in tech profiles, it's like letter ka format. If you have ever given Hindi paper, English paper in 10th grade, the letter format is very important, but uska marks weightage nahi hai. If you mess up the format, they won't check your paper. Idhar utna harsh case nahi hai, but it's important that you have, and then you have meat in it, so that you can glorify to the recruiters. So it serves as a template. You should have something. कुछ scholastic में लिखा होना चाहिए. There should be something in the PORs and ECs in that manner, at least bare minimum.
Okay, it's always good to have some things.
Yeah.
So, like, can you all describe what's the company culture like, and how would you describe the overall working environment? Ritam, we start with you.
Yeah, so the company culture and working environment is quite good. So the first sudden change is calling the senior sir or ma'am to directly their name. I guess in all the companies that would be the case. And like apart from that, in the working environment, like the timings are very flexible. So you can reach early, you can reach late, or you can leave early. So that's all pretty good. And one thing I really liked was that you get to meet the seniors, like not just immediate seniors, but seniors at a very high position, and that makes you feel something special. So that's a really add-on point.
Okay, Sanskriti.
So at Amex, the work culture is really awesome. Like the timing is really flexible, and you can operate in hybrid mode. I go to office like 2 days a week, and you have been assigned a project that you have to work on with the help of your buddy and your manager, and you have to present it at the end of your internship. So yeah, the work culture is quite nice. You get to interact with lot of higher position authorities. So yeah, that's what I would say. And also, if you are a night owl, then it's the timing is really awesome because it is start with 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. So yeah.
Okay, great. Avni, would you like to go next?
Sure, sure. Okay. So the thing I liked about Goldman Sachs was, matlab, you can in a team, like in my team there are 11 to 12 people and we are 6 interns. So each one of us was given an idea about what every other person is working on in the first week, so we can go and discuss anything. How are you doing this? How also in the first week of our internship, the first week was full of orientations. Like Since my team works on credit cards, and particularly my sub team works on fraud part of credit cards. So we were given the whole. We had so many sessions on what exactly is a credit card, how it works, profit and loss, everything around it. So they gave us a whole view of what the team does, what each person is doing, and we can just go and discuss anything with anyone.
Okay. Arsh, would you?
In Finmechanics, initially work culture is pretty good, and when they give the PPT, they also describe, they tell it to you initially before even hiring that they actually hire commandos. They want someone who can do all three things: a person who can code, a person who has finance knowledge, and a person who can also deal with clients, consultancy, coding, and finance. Tino. Okay? Obviously, you are not expected to have that as a prerequisite. They will train you into it by making you work on certain things. So everyone in the office is capable of all three of these things. So if मेरा अगर git पे push नहीं हो रहा है, I can ask to any random person. If I have to make a pitch, I have to write a mail to a client, I can ask to any person. Any random issue, there is literally anyone. I said there's no division. Everyone is working on their projects in a collaborative way, and there's literally no bifurcation. Everybody just works. Project is a project. Apart from that, it's not a finance project, it's not a tech project. It doesn't work that way. So um, that is pretty convenient. And I similarly, like Sanskriti said and Rhythm said, we can join in any time. I can choose to work from home, but since my project is from scratch, I'm building a completely new feature, so I require a lot of help. So I cannot do my work from home. I have to gather help from the employees and people around. My project is more on the coding side. I'd asked for it more, and finance knowledge is required in any aspect. You cannot evade that. Some people are working on VBA, and some people are working. We use tech base as the tech stack is basically Java and JavaScript. Some people are also working in Python and on ML models. So it varies a lot, and people get to work on different aspects. They can give their preferences, what they would like to work on more, more on the consulting side, more on the finance side, more on the coding side, and they would get project mentors regarding that, and they will help them out.
Okay.
Sorry, just would like to add for Goldman Sachs. They what they say is no finance knowledge is required, but interest in financial field is appreciated. Yeah, that is what they say.
Okay.
All right then. Finally, as you reflect on your internship experience thus far, what are some key takeaways or lessons that you believe will shape your future career? Rhythm, would you like to start with this?
Like after having the experience of corporate, I'm not sure whether I want to continue this or not. I'm not sure. Maybe this is the case with many. But yeah, the key takeaways are basically to sleep early in the college also and wake up early, maybe.
That's fine. Sanskriti, would you like to continue?
Yeah, so initially I used to thought that the corporate world is linear type, like different teams do their individual work. But now I got to know that it's more chaotic and collaborative, and you need to be patient in such a scenario. And you should value the time of others and be punctual in your work. So yeah.
Arsh, would you like to continue on this?
I abide by what Sanskriti said, because again, as I'm building from scratch, मुझे कुछ नहीं आता. I have no clue what I'm doing daily. I'm just doing it sometimes, and then I have to figure out why did I do it. It works opposite kind of. It's begging the question. So you need to be extremely patient with certain aspects, and again, like Rhythm said, corporate takes a toll on you. Maybe if you are working very diligently and you're doing justice to your job. Some employees in my office, they willingly leave. They come in like at 11 a.m. and they leave at 11 p.m. I can definitely not do that ever. Okay. And another tip that दोपहर को खाना खाने के बाद जो नींद आता है, छाछ पी लो उसके बाद ऑफिस में रखा हुआ तो कड़क एकदम. All right, and I even asked my employees regarding that. They are like कि छाछ पी लो तो full out हो जाते हो. So they keep snacks and all those drinks in the office. It's stacked up. I believe every office has that in order to keep their employees replenished throughout the day. So takeaways are that do justice to your job. You are here to learn. Some people, there might be some other activities in the office. For example, we have TT table and other playing items. So some people just come in at 11, 12 p.m., 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. and 12 and they just आधा काम कर लिया lunch and then TT खेलते हैं आधा time and they just poof gone 5 to 6 p.m. they're gone. But I am usually there till 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Gain finance knowledge. It will help you out in life, if not in this field, at least a broader perspective of how things work. Why is Hindenburg so pissed with Adani and why everything? It actually matters. Okay? We think it doesn't, but it matters. We are quite privileged. So yeah, learn a lot.
Great. And Avani ma'am, would you like to add something?
Okay, my situation same as Rhythm. I was from the start confused, research, corporate. So I hope by the end of the internship, I'll be clear with it. And key takeaways, don't take load, just enjoy your internship. Don't keep doing work. Don't just run away from work. Have an optimal balance. Or yeah, that's it. Also to others कि OCS intern नहीं लगी तो it's not the end of world. और भी बहुत सारे options होते हैं and also एक वो भी sad truth कि there are certain barriers intern लगने में. You have department barriers again, you have gender barriers. थोड़ा BT रहता ही है तो just again to iterate कि just have a support system जिससे सब bitching हो सके. And yeah, stay strong.
Okay, thank you all for your valuable insights. And with this, we would like to end our podcast. Thank you.